We'll be transitioning in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 8 a.m. as usual. It is currently 15 degrees outside right now, so it is still really cold, but thank goodness it's not like 1 degrees yesterday like it was yesterday and the day before, and yeah. So the snow kind of melted. There's no real major issues with traffic or the roads, at least major roads still. I'm sure some of the minor sub streets, neighborhoods. Like I said, the gym parking lot next door is still pretty rough with ice, but it's really not too bad, all things considered, with this absolutely stunningly low cold weather. So that being said, we have a high of about 40 today. It's going to be windy, though, so hopefully that wind is a more of a warm front kind of wind than a cold front kind of wind. However, the wind chill is always going to be a huge factor. Now, whenever it's windy, it doesn't feel warm. So, I mean, it could be below freezing. If there's no wind, it actually doesn't feel that bad outside. But like I said, that wind doesn't matter what it is. It just makes it feel worse. So it is supposed to be windy, but like I said, again, high in the 40s, thank goodness. So hopefully a lot of this snow and ice will get melted and it'll get dry, and then we don't have to worry about black ice because it is going to get warm tomorrow again, but then it's going to drop back in the teens essentially for Friday and Saturday. So be prepared for that. Now, traffic conditions going into Tulsa, it's pretty steady. It's kind of like what I expected it to be yesterday. Yesterday, for whatever reason, was really not bad. Like, it was just empty out there. But today, it's looking a lot better as far as, people going back into work or and such. So
It was kind of standstill when I first drove in, but now it seemed to kind of clear up.
Yeah, like I said, about 8 o'clock, it just kind of dies going into Tulsa. I guess the majority of people have already left or are already on the road. So good for y'all. If you're commuting into Tulsa right now, the commute's going to be pretty clean. So with that being said, not a whole lot's changed as far as Owasso itinerary and scheduling goes. Like, we just got that Chamber of Commerce gala on Saturday. So like I said, again, you can go and get tickets for that. You're going to show up day of and pay $110 at the door if you're not a member. But if you are a member, pay $100. So perks of being the member is you save $10. But like I said, it's also about, being involved in the community and, having that name recognition out there and
Networking.
That's the most important thing. Networking is huge. That's basically the whole point of college anymore, because it sure as heck isn't
The degrees.
a degree. Because like I said, golly, there's just a lot of useless people in college now, it seems like. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. So with that being said, national news, again, moving on to national news. So Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out of the presidential race. He didn't perform as well as he wanted to in the Iowa Caucus, which is fine. Like I said, he actually endorsed Donald Trump. He went and met with Donald Trump and gave him his endorsement in person and gave a speech. So that was really neat to see. I could tell he was he still had that energy that was good, but I could tell in his eyes, he was pretty disappointed. Something about his body language was just a little different. But like I said, the man dropped a lot of his own personal money into this campaign. I thought he was going to see a bigger return on investment. So I understand and the disappointment. I can see that. But like I said, I'm thinking hopefully there's a potentially a VP nomination from Trump to him, appointing him as VP in the future is what I hope. Because I think Vivek has a lot to offer this country in regards to his political future. So that would be what I would like to see, in my opinion, in the future. So, but the weird thing that happened was Nikki Haley, despite
victory.
losing to Ron DeSantis in the Iowa Caucus, declared victory for herself and said now it's a two-person race, which I don't know. I mean, she lost to Ron DeSantis
By a small margin, but still, like I said,
she's
still
acting
lost.
like she won. Now, I think what she's doing is she's taking the fact that she's more popular in New Hampshire and in South Carolina, but like I said, Trump is still dominating both of those states. So I don't know who so basically she also declined to do the next RNC debate with Ron because she said she's not going to do it unless Trump shows up. But like again, that she's putting the medal on her chest saying that she's the number two, despite the fact the numbers don't
show
that fruit yet. So it's just, that's really odd, it's just, but I mean, like I said, I guess, it's a smart strategy. It's been like, this is my opponent. Nobody else is my opponent. But when the numbers don't bear the fruit, it's odd that you don't get to declare yourself the winner. It's kind of like that Louis C.K. joke. It's like you don't get to choose whether or not people perceive you as an a-hole. Like you just are to everyone around you. It's like we collectively decide whether or not you are. You don't get to be like, no, I'm not that. Same as like you come in third place. It's like I won. It's like, oh, by what metric? You lost. You came in third place. We measured it. So it's just really, really odd to see that. And it turns out, at least from what I've been seeing, it's a lot of DNC money is actually being funneled to Nikki Haley. They're trying to, but it's just them trying to, it's the Democratic Party trying to sow disunity within the Republican ranks, essentially. But I just don't see it must be nice to be able to dump like $235 million into a guaranteed loss with Nikki Haley. That's, I wish I had that kind of money to burn. Just like, we know we're not going to win this, but we're just going to dump this level of funds into it. But, that's the thing. Republicans aren't willing to spend money and lose, but win the, what do you call it? Not the moral victory, but the
cultural victory.
The cultural victory. But the Democrats are. So that's the thing. Republicans got to start. But like I said, again, it's not Republicans doing this. This is Democrat donors funding Nikki Haley's campaign. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And especially, there are a bunch of big, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of big-time Republican donors donating to Nikki Haley, too. Like I said, those are the people that are looking at spreadsheets and being like, this is not worth, this juice ain't worth the squeeze kind of thing. But, I guess not. But I guess because they can't, maybe it's because they can't buy Trump. But I don't know. It's just very odd, But like I said, seeing Vivek, who dumped a lot of his own personal money in there, I could see the defeat in his eyes, But like I said, it's just Nikki Haley. She was living in a 1,500 square foot house and had financial problems. And then she got appointed to the UN as the ambassador to the UN. And all of a sudden, after that, she got appointed to a chair board at Boeing. And now she's living in a 5,000 square foot mansion. It's like something doesn't add up. But it just comes with, connections in politics. You get appointed financial advisors and, you're a mover and shaker. And,
yeah.
So, I guess it comes with the territory. But like I said, that is what most of us would look at as kind of trackable corruption, traceable corruption. It's like, hey, UN, lateral move. Like I said, it's kind of like the Clinton stuff. It's just a lateral. You went to being the governor's wife, lateral move to senator. It's like, how does that happen? So it's just really odd. But like I said, it comes with marketing and it comes with, whether or not you got the
networking,
political,
it's the old who you know, not what you know.
It's political nepotism at its finest, folks. But just very odd. But it's cool to see though, and like I said, again, moving on to what we think is going on. Like I had mentioned yesterday was it a Wells Fargo banker or some bank betting place is betting money that Joe Biden will drop out after the Republican primaries with illness, like saying that he will not be able to continue his presidential run due to a physical health
ailment. Mm-hmm.
So again, that would mean that for the first time in history, the Democrats won't be able to primary anybody for an election. Again, this sets scary precedent for future elections. Like I said, not only for the Democrats, but that if the Democrats will get away with it, then the Republicans will attempt getting away with it too. And like I said, then you won't have somebody like Donald Trump ever appear into the political game again. It'll just be, they'll just throw Nikki Haley into it.
Yeah, they'll throw a delegate that they've hand-selected into the position versus somebody that the people chose.
Yeah, and I imagine a lot of people who are, ideologically opposed to our way of thinking would just be like, you're just crazy. This would just be a one-time thing. Guys, I don't know how naive you have to be, but when it comes to government, nothing's just a one-time thing. It's like, oh, this is just a temporary law. It's like there are still COVID restrictions in place right now. Whether or not people are listening to them or not is irrelevant. But there are still people adhering to those rules.
Yep. And it just takes one corrupt mayor, politician, or whatever to just enforce those laws and, just like, oh, you broke this law.
And like I said, it could be a quiet enforcement where they just do it to people they don't like, and then slowly it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Or it could just be it's like we're back at it. You know, I mean, a lot of college campuses before the school year started this semesters, that's what they were doing. They were reinstituting kind of COVID policies. Like I said, our sister goes to OU. You know, they were doing a lot of this kind of pre. I mean, it might have just been like a policy where they were just like put people in panic mode, you know, and kind of get it going. But I mean, like I said, these are all you're also dealing with college kids. They're not going to listen to anybody. You know, I mean, I can guarantee you parties never stopped on college campuses. You know, it's like I went to college. I know what we were about whenever we were there. Like you could tell people that, you know, the whole fraternity row was so pro'd, but there'd still be stuff going on, you know. So that's not how it works. And the naivete of the you know, collegiate policies being put through, thinking that it's going to change anything, is kind of crazy to me. But like I said, it doesn't matter.
The old prohibition argument. They said drinking is illegal. Didn't stop people from drinking.
Exactly. So those are our thoughts and concerns about what's been going on in the national news here lately. So like I said, agree or disagree, you know, it's like, you know, let us know if you agree or disagree in the comments. Let us know if you think we're dumb. That's totally fine too. You're entitled to your opinion. So with that being said, those are the things that we were kind of looking at. I guess we could talk about the Iran funding the Houthis that were they bombed that U.S. cargo ship. So like I said, again, preludes to war in the Middle East again.
War in the Middle East, Ukraine, everything, you know, said not to beat a dead horse because everybody's kind of been talking about World War III.
Yeah, potentially. Like I said, yeah, I mean, we got Russia and China attempting to collapse the U.S. dollar. They were trying to end the petrodollar. They're going to create their own unified currency together. I mean, there's a lot to be nervous about in the global community now. If we can start getting energy sufficient, you know, if the Republicans can get into office and they can say, hey, we're going to start drilling on American soil and we're going to start fracking and doing all this stuff, we can.
It's becoming energy and industry dependent again, and we won't have to worry, because the problem is, like I said, well, global collapse could hurt us in the long run if all of our stuff that we need comes from overseas. But if we have everything here that we need, which we do, we just got to open up industry again.
We got to open up manufacturing.
We'll be fine. Like I said, you're like, things will still maybe be a little bit more expensive because it'll be American made. So, you know, everything's a little bit more expensive because we have to follow all the regulations.
You have to follow OSHA regulations and workman's comp and all that stuff.
Like I said, in the long run, we will be self-sufficient, and we won't be like, oh, no, we don't have these things anymore. Chips, oil, whatever it happens to be.
Absolutely. So, like I said, bring back manufacturing, and we got to get energy independent. Like I said, if you're not willing to, this is why I like Vivek so much. You know, he's like, the climate change agenda is a hoax to hurt the American energy
economy
institution. Yeah, I mean that's what it is. You know, they're trying to destroy America. They're trying to make us dependent on things that just don't like. I mean, renewable energy does not have the return on investment that people think it does. Windmills. You know what they do? They just bury metal because we can't recycle it. We can't do anything with the when they go down. We can't do anything with them. So it's same with those electric cars and stuff. They don't know what to do with them, so they just have graveyards of electric cars in places.
Exactly like what happened with Chicago right now. It's all the cars during that like polar, you know, during like a polar vortex or below zero weather. Anybody that can't get their car inside or put one of those like heat, you know, tarps on it are all dead. Like I said, your cars are worthless. Like I said, your electric car just became useless.
Yeah. The electric vehicle in its current state is a fair weather vehicle. It is a fair weather friend. You know, it's like if you don't live in a mostly warm,
like,
you know, California, maybe Florida,
not New York,
not New York. I mean, yeah, these
Florida. Yeah, you're right. Florida, Texas.
It's got to be somewhat tropical, somewhat warm. I mean, like I said, depending on where you're at in Texas, could be an issue too. So
it's true that
it is what it is. Now, like I said, again, sorry to go that kind of political route again today, folks, but there's not a lot going on here in Owasso, and like I said, the national headlines were just a little bit more interesting to kind of chat about today. So, again, give us your thoughts in the comment section, and you all have a wonderful and safe drive
And
today.
if you know any more local news, let us know. We'll be happy to talk more about that because we're more about the local community than we are, you know, national and federal level stuff. So.
Absolutely. Like I said, this whole setup is for the Owasso community. So that's what matters, and that's what's the most important thing to us here is the local community at this level. So again, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. This is the Twins with the Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. God bless y'all.